Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. Today is the 14th of April 2022, and I think I messed up badly yesterday. My prediction was totally opposite to what happened. So sorry about that. I got it totally wrong. But today we're going to talk about why that happened, and we are also going to talk about today's headlines in the first part. The second part, we're going to do Nasdaq, VIX, gold, and Bitcoin analysis. And finally, we're going to take a look at the Genomic shares that we have in our watch list, and hopefully we'll get it right today. So let's get started. Yesterday, what happened was after we did our analysis, we have this Delta report of a very positive outlook. The Delta CEO actually said that they're able to command the prices and more than offset the costs of rising fuel. And also they reported heavy bookings, and overall hospitality industry seems to be indicating that travel has started, and that is a source of optimism for most of the industries, because that would mean that there's going to be more business potential happening, and economy is returning to normal like it was pre-COVID. But we should not forget the fact that the Omicron variant is still at a very high level in most countries and jurisdictions. So it's a very, very mixed bag. And yesterday I took the pessimistic approach because I thought, given the Ukraine war, given the way Omicron is behaving, and all those factors put together and the signals from gold, that we are going to go negative with Nasdaq. I was horribly wrong. I think JP Morgan also was horribly wrong. Jamie Dimon had said that he has got a pessimistic outlook for the future, for the near future. So he also probably got it wrong. So markets did gallop very, very strongly upward yesterday, way beyond what I would have thought. And that's also because of the fact that the 10-year bond yields have dropped significantly, and that allows risk-on assets to be valued in a much more aggressive manner. So that has helped us. So that's what I think is the situation at this point of time, because of which our predictions went wrong. Right now, I'm a bit disoriented because I was kind of on a track and doing everything. And yesterday was like, somebody spun me around and I'm totally disoriented. So I'm going to try and make the best of it today, and let's see where it takes us. So with that, I would like to look at today's headlines. And the headlines say that Citigroup has topped earnings estimate on better than expected trading revenue. So that's a very positive news. However, Wells Fargo has reported quarterly revenue misses from the estimate. So we have a mixed bag out here. Yesterday, JP Morgan fell after their earnings release. And today we have Citibank being positive and Wells Fargo being negative. So even in the banking sector, you have to be selective as to which bank you're selecting depending on their product mix. That's the message I get from this. And Elon Musk is offering to buy Twitter at $43 billion so that it can be transformed into a private company. I don't know what that means, but he's giving a premium of more than 50% on the shares. And he has given an ultimatum that this is his full and final offer. If it's taken, it's fine. Otherwise, he's selling his holdings and getting out of Twitter altogether. So that's where he has put everything at. And I think that probably this is a wrong move for both Tesla, Elon Musk, and Twitter if he gets on top of Twitter, because Elon Musk doesn't have the kind of temperament needed to run a responsible social media organization. And I think that maybe his ego has gone to his head. That's just me. I've never made billions. He has. I can't buy Twitter. He can. So let us see what happens. But whatever he does is going to impact geopoliticals, because there are various countries that are putting controls on Twitter. So is Elon just going to wind up shop from those countries in the interest of free speech? And that's the big question. Second question is, when lies are being told on Twitter, and that gets somebody to go with a AK-47 into a pizza parlor and start shooting, Is Elon going to still say it is free speech? So it's not such an easy thing to take Twitter and turn it around. Twitter has got a lot of issues with regard to free speech, responsibility to society, compliance with law, and also the political instability that it can create in various countries if there is unbridled free speech. Free speech assumes every participant is rational and every participant is going to think through their actions and not get swayed by free speech of other people. That sadly is not the case. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but it's a very big risk for everything if Elon gets control of Twitter, in my opinion. ECB confirms the end of its bond buying in the third quarter as inflation surges. This is a tightening from European Central Bank, and which means that Europe is also going to clamp down on inflation. So the combined effort of Europe and US is going to suck out the money from the market and kill demand. I don't see either of them doing anything about lubricating the supply and bring more supplies into the market so that we don't get into a recession. So I'm a bit worried about recession with this move. Then futures for Nasdaq also look negative when I last checked. We'll look at them again when we get into the Nasdaq and gold analysis. So that's my headlines for today. And I think it's a mixed bag. Again, like yesterday, it's going to be difficult to call. And also, I'd like to have all your feedback on what you think about Elon Musk buying Twitter. Is it a good thing? Is my opinion wrong? Do you think absolute free speech is what we need with Twitter? And how should Twitter handle it in various countries where the government says that they cannot allow certain tweets to be published or certain accounts to be open? So please put your feedback in there. I'm really curious to know what our audience thinks about it. I have given you my honest feedback as an investor. I'd like you to give your feedback, and we can have some conversation out there, and I can get to know our audience better. So with that, let's go and look at Nasdaq and gold and cryptocurrencies. And starting rather early today, let's look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq futures are pointing downwards, minus 16%, and it's around 8:54 in the morning. I'm starting a bit early today because every day when I do this video recordings, it takes me around 4.5 hours from beginning to uploading it after editing, making sure it's up and running. And by the time I go back to my computer, the opportunity to sell shares is gone. So today I'm going to try to sell some shares because I think I need to take profits right now because May is fast approaching, and I believe in May we are going to see share prices drop and there'll be opportunity to buy it again. So having said that, our Nasdaq is indicating negative. I don't want to be wrong again today. So we are going to be very careful. I'm going to look at the indicators next. US oil. US oil is down marginally, and it's down minus 0.52%. And you can see that we have already passed the diagonal resistance that we had, and we are in a bullish leg upwards. So we'll have to see if it is forming a new higher low on a bullish channel, or it's going to come down and test the support out here. When I look at the MACD, it seems that it's moving towards the signal line, and the momentum is above average and flat. So when MACD moves towards the signal line, it's supposed to be attempting to be bullish. So let us look at the one-day time frame and see what is happening out here. In the one-day time frame, we can see that MACD is bearish, moving away from the signal line, and momentum is just at average and pointed downwards. So I think there could be further drop in oil prices, especially with the ECB tightening by stopping bond purchases. There will be some money sucked out of the market, and overall the expectations for more demand for oil is likely to be tempered a little bit. Maybe that's what is happening today. So with oil prices going down, we need to see that the VIX is also coming down. And this is a real-time VIX. And we have today's candle here, the 14th of April. It's behaving exactly like yesterday. Yesterday we had red out here, but the candle was green. So today also the candle is green, and it's a doji candle, so indecision out there. So we started low and we went up, And then we came back down again, and we are in this narrow band. If you can see, I've magnified the candle as much as possible. Our 9-day exponential moving average is our resistance out here for the VIX. And we will have to see where it goes. As far as the MACD is concerned, it's bullish but tending towards the signal line, and momentum is below average, and it's flat. Now, if I look at the 1-day time frame, and I look at the MACD here, it's again bearish and moving away from the signal line. Momentum is above average but pointed downwards. So it seems the VIX is also going to go down today. So I have just gone back into the 1-year time frame, and we can see that we are spiraling back again towards the support of 19.75. And I think that we may lose a little bit more today if the ECB tightening and the falling of oil and all those have to have some impact on VIX. However, on the other hand, we have had a bad report from Wells Fargo and JP Morgan. So only bright spot there is Delta and Citibank. So it's an even spread on both sides. If I was to look at QQQ, which is the proxy for Nasdaq for us, and if we look at pre-market, it's down slightly. It's down minus 0.17%. That kind of shows a bearish beginning for the day. So overall, everything is looking mixed. The VIX is going down, but we see Nasdaq pre-market showing negative, and also the futures showing negative. So it's totally opposite to what I would have expected. So let's look at a few more indicators. I'm going to look at S&P 500, which is this chart. Each candle is a 1-day candle. I'm going to convert this into 2 hours so that we have more granular look at it. And I have drawn this kind of trend line out here, which is connecting the lower highs for S&P 500. And you can see that we are at some critical levels out here. We have a resistance, which is, we have a resistance out here, which is at 443.35. And we also have this diagonal line of resistance. So, and our 9-day exponential moving average is also giving us a strong resistance out here. Our MACD, however, is bullish, and momentum is below average and flat. So overall, typically in these kind of situations, I would feel that the price is going to drop down. That's how I estimated yesterday, and things went totally wrong. So I'm going to hold my reservation on this. We are at some critical levels here with S&P 500. There's a good chance that if we go up, we are going to come down. But in the morning itself, everything is looking negative. If you look at S&P 500 right now in the pre-market, it's at 442.31. That's a minus 0.23% drop from yesterday's close. So the bias in the morning is negative. But since we are in April and we are in the a portion of April where prices tend to go up, I think that we may still probably have some more steam left in the market, and we touch this diagonal red line, which is going to be at 444.74, and then we come back down again in S&P 500. That's one possibility, but I'm not going to take a chance on that. If we look at our put call ratio, we are still a bit bullish on the put call ratio. We are below 1, so it's a slightly bullish bias. And now let us look at our cryptocurrencies and gold and see if we get some messages out there. So if I look at Bitcoin, again, we have the same kind of a trend out here. If I connect, when I connect these two, the top points of the lower highs, we have broken out, and we have a resistance out here at 41356, 41,356, and we also have resistance from the 50-day exponential moving average. So there's a good chance that we might be pushed back down again. Right now we are down minus 49, but typically Bitcoin picks up once the markets get started. So there's a good chance that we might hit 41,356 and then come down again, because the MACD, though bullish, is tending towards the signal line, and momentum is above average, but I don't know whether it's going to keep on going up. And if I go to a 1-day time frame to look at Bitcoin, then we can see that the MACD is turned bearish, and we also have the momentum, which is above average but flat. So that's not a good indicator either. And having said that, let us look at gold. If I go to a 1-year time frame and look at gold, we have negative outcome today for gold, down minus 0.13%. So gold is dropping. That also is a bullish sign for Nasdaq. So overall, we have got total mixed signs. So on one hand, I'm weighing the fact that historically April around this time we have a high growth. On the other hand, I'm looking at the negative results that have come in from a couple of banks, and also the fact that ECB is tightening up by stopping its bond purchases, and the US is already on the tapering and interest rate hike. So a lot of money is being pulled out of the market. Even Bank of Canada increased 50 basis points yesterday. So a lot of liquidity is being pulled out of the market. And my personal belief is that supply side has to be primed instead of increasing interest rate, and the balance sheet winding down should have been done by itself so that we don't have the risk of a recession. And pretty confusingly right now, the Nasdaq futures are inching up and they are gone into the positive. So it's a very mixed day. So I think the April trend for increasing prices at this point of time is still at play. But as you know, that we are very close to all the resistances, these diagonal lines of resistances, and we are likely to bounce back down. So all those gains that we see today are likely to be pushed back. Even if you look at Dow Jones Industrial Average, we still have the same formation where we have a trend line connecting the lower highs. And you can see here that we are going to hit the trend line, and then we'll be pushed down back again. So I'm just going to rush out and do my profit taking while I can. And I'm going to end this video pretty quickly. So let us quickly look at biotech before I do that. The markets have opened, and this is our biotech shares watch list. On the right side of the panel, you can see Pfizer, Illumina, Verve, DNA, and Intelia are up. They're all in the green, and the rest of the pack is in the red, and with Regeneron just waiting to turn green. If I was to, let's go into PFE, if I was to look at Pfizer and see what the charts indicate, let me go on to a 1-year view. And if you can see this 1-year view, we are in this bullish channel upward for Pfizer, supported by the 9-day exponential moving average. We opened up higher and then we fell down. That's the reason why we have a red candle out here. So the bias is already bearish. So off the gate, there were some standing orders. Probably they got executed at a higher level, but the prices are dropping. And look at Illumina. Illumina, if we were to see, it's a red candle, and just let me change it into cursor. Again, Illumina is a red candle, and we started higher and we fell down. So somebody had placed orders at a higher level and left it unattended. That got executed, and we are now falling down as the market opens. So the overall trend is bearish. If we go to IBB, which is our bellwether, we can see that it's marginally positive. And it started low and went up, so this is going in a different direction, but it's not very significant to make a major difference at this point of time, in my opinion. And everything else is red. So overall, it's very confusing. I think if we are going to be able to get a last chance to take profit, and then the markets are going to go red. That is my personal opinion, and it is underpinned by the fact that ECB is tightening, Canada is tightening, US is tightening. So the money in the market is being sucked out. The second thing is that we are approaching some strong trend lines, which are indicating that we are going to be pushed down. So the moment we hit the trend line, if we break out, it will be a great gain, but the chances are that we are going to break down. And that's what I'm feeling. But when I look at gold, gold is going down, which kind of indicates that Nasdaq is going to go up. And if we look at VIX, VIX was going down in the morning. Let us see where it is right now. So VIX is still down. VIX is still going down, and we can see the momentum has fallen down. So that indicates a positive for Nasdaq. So it's a mixed bag. So I would personally, I'm going to take profits. I'm just going to end this session here, go back to my workstation and start taking profits wherever I can, and sit in the sidelines. So today is my cutoff. Again, these are all my opinions. Please do your own due diligence before taking any decisions. The markets are very confusing right now, so I'm sorry I'm not able to give you a much better outlook. But just to summarize, there might be a slight positive today, but we are eventually going to go down. When is the question? It could happen today in the second half, or maybe it can happen by around noon. So that's all. Thanks and have a great day, and bye for now.